Greetings, everybody, and welcome to Real Talk. We're sitting here on the eve of the penultimate episode of the Falcon and Winter Soldier Season 1. And I couldn't be more dialed in right now. This has been an excellent show, in my opinion. Um, Before it came on, as I said in my last video, I was really looking forward to seeing, and enjoying the comedic chemistry between Sam and Bucky, and it definitely didn't disappoint. In fact, they took it to another level by making the duo into a trio, throwing Daniel Brühl as Zemo into the mix. Um, Now, I know the character more from comics, and I know in the movie Civil War where he made his debut, he's more kind of like a background character more than an antagonist. Yeah, he was the bad guy, he was the main villain doing something wrong, but he was just really in a bystander position doing the bare minimum to move the plot here. But with his opportunity to take center stage, his addition and to the chemistry of Sam and Bucky has just been nothing short of a revelation, in my opinion. So it's been very fun seeing those three work together, and I'm very intrigued to see where he goes because right now he's out of pocket. I guess we'll find out tomorrow what he's doing. But even with that, I think the main story of this, the hidden gem of this whole series, has to be John Walker. I'm not a fan, but I've never been I'm of course familiar with him from comic books, but what they did with him, I think they made him possibly the most fascinating character in the post Endgame MCU. Just they could have done so many things, but what they decided to do, they made him such a human character that it's it's impossible for me to just look at him as a simple black and white. And what's been fascinating to me is just how everybody has, almost everybody I talk to, just has this vitriol for him. Of course, I understand, the way people treated him, with his punch me face when he smirked with the shield in his debut, the way, they hated him for, him threatening Sam and Bucky, telling them to stay the hell out of his way. And of course, we all demonized him for, the image of him with his bloody shield after he butchered a terrorist who was a accomplice to killing his friend. But, it just seems like to me, in a world without Steve Rogers, this man's greatest sin was not being Steve Rogers. I mean, we've always been okay with anti heroes, guys who ride the line, but with John, anything less than the pinnacle of the human spirit was absolutely unacceptable, and we had the pitchfork ready anytime this guy stepped out of line. I never liked the character in the comics, but so all I can do is judge him strictly from his MCU iteration. He just seemed like a guy who came into this with the best of intentions. He's willing to work, he's willing to work with Sam and Bucky to do what it takes to end the threat and solve the problems. He knew what he was up against, and and you saw like when he was with his wife, when he was with Lamar. It's like he wanted to live up to this. But things did not go as planned, and it was just it's been very gripping, just watching what happens when he's shunned by Sam and Bucky, when he's not respected in the international community. And you watch his own hubris get the better of him when he tangled with my girls, and you just saw a man that was in over his head, and a lot of people view him as a villain, an asshole, or this, that, the other. He's just a man like anybody else who found himself, just in over his head, and he just succumbed to his shortcomings as a man, as a person. And it's been very, very, like I said, compelling. Now, as I said before, I'm not a fan of the guy. He's not fit for the job. He should have never been given that shield. He shouldn't be Captain America. But to me, it seems like he's never really had a real chance. Not from us, not from the universe he was inhabiting. And at the end of the day, you know, he's not an imposter. You know, it's like some people, like he didn't try to be. He doesn't dress like Steve. He said it straight up, I'm not Steve Rogers. He's just doing what he was called to do. You know, and it's like a lot of people try to view him as an allegory for white privilege. I don't look that deep into things, but I just view him as a guy who had greatness thrusted upon him. He tried hard to live up to it, and he failed miserably at a critical moment. You know, before, you know, it's like what was so great about this last episode, you could see John, his lack of the serum, it was getting to him. The way he taunted Bucky about it, the way he lamented his loss to the Doras. But at the end of the day, his biggest failure was when he didn't have that excuse. He had the power to make a difference, and he effed up all the way around. You know, it's like that same power he sought revealed that no matter what he has in his thing, he's always going to come up short. I wonder where he goes from here. I don't see that shield staying with him too much longer. But I'll be watching to find out. Hope to see y'all later. Good times. Have by all.